Hi, fellas. How you doing? Welcome to another Escapement Show. Got my man JCB hanging with me, and
Hi, buddy.
yeah, doing good. Thanks. Yeah, how you been? What's been
Yeah,
happening?
yeah, good mate, good mate. Yeah, just a lot of just a lot of work stuff. Getting ready to finish off the year. We
Good.
wrap up work on the 22nd of December, so just trying to wrap some deals up and all that sort of stuff. A lot of family stuff to prepare for, kids' presents and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's getting into that busy time of year, festive season. I love this time of year, because like you sort of I check out of work and I'm thinking about family and holiday and
absolutely. Yeah,
drinking and
yeah,
being merry. So yeah,
yeah.
that's it,
Good.
mate. How
What do the
about you?
kids? What do the kids want for Christmas then this year?
So I already got my son his present a couple of months ago. My older son, I got him an Epiphone SG,
Oh,
which
brilliant guitar!
yeah,
Wow.
it's not the full Angus Young like the Gibson version. It's the
Yeah.
Epiphone, the Epiphone version of the Angus Young guitar because he's a real AC/DC head. He plays guitar.
Wow.
So, my younger one, I'm still thinking he hasn't really said what he wants, so I've got to try and figure that out. My daughter, I'll just get her a few Barbie things. She's in a Barbie phase at the moment. So
Oh, bless.
but it sort of makes it easy when they sort of know when they're into something, and you can sort of just go out and get it. And but when someone's sort of indecisive or they're into a lot of things, it sort of makes it hard to choose for them, I guess.
Yeah,
It's sort of similar to when if you're buying something for your parents or something like that. It can be,
sure,
you know what I
sure.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, what's been happening in your world, buddy?
Well, I finished work for Christmas on Friday. I finished now. I'm off for 3.5 weeks.
Oh man, 3.5
Yeah,
weeks. Awesome.
I saved my paid holiday till the end of the or some of my paid holiday till the end of the year. So it's
Okay.
off, and I'm gonna be
Ah,
taking it easy and kicking back and
you bugger.
doing
3.5
doing
weeks.
doing
Shit.
the Christmas thing like you from now. So
Yeah, but the cool thing about where you are though is you actually get a white Christmas. Like it might be but would it be snowing maybe?
it's
I'm not
already
sure.
been snowing. Yeah, it's already been snowing. We've had a
Wow.
it's already been snowing, but mainly rain at the moment.
Okay.
A lot of rain and rivers flooding and things like that. But the snow, we've had snow. It laid, but it didn't stay for too long.
Okay.
And it's mainly the ice that's the trouble because that gets really slippery. But
Yeah,
yeah,
if you
no,
drive.
not too much snow at the moment. But as I say, mainly rain, which is really pouring down, really
Yeah,
lashing down
it's a
in
pain in the butt.
buckets.
Yeah, we've actually been going through weird weather. Generally in Australia, it's really weird at the moment. Like some parts are in heat waves, but where I'm in at the moment, it's we've had a lot of rain as well, which is good for the grass and the plants and farmers and everything. But when you're trying to get out and do stuff, it's a bloody pain in the ass.
Yeah,
Yeah. What's
yeah.
what's on the wrist? What do you got on wrist? Give us a wrist check, man.
I've got
Nothing.
my, I've got my trusty Panerai as usual.
Oh, nice.
It's my
It's on the
Pan
Aaron
3.
on the Aaron bespoke strap, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, on the Stingray
Stingray?
strap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Stingray. Cool. Nice one. Have you we'll get to it in a minute. I was gonna ask you if you've got any ultra thin watches. I'm just wearing a GMT today. Batgirl.
Lovely, beautiful. That looks so nice on that bracelet, that Jubilee bracelet.
Yeah, it's
And
really cool. The more
I much prefer the Batman or Batgirl to the Pepsi. All the Pepsi hype that the Pepsi gets. I think the colours
yeah,
are much better on the Batman.
yeah, I look, yeah, I think they're probably more versatile. Like the black and blue sort of go. Like I wear black and blue all the time, so they're my colors. It goes with my stuff. But when I see Pepsis as well, I think they're pretty cool too. I like them as well. I like that the red and blue. It's sort of very
I like vintage Pepsis, but I'm not too
yeah.
bothered about the new ones. I think they're a bit overhyped. Everyone says, "Oh, you gotta get a Pepsi, you gotta get a Pepsi." Pepsi's the ultimate. Pepsi's the the best Rolex out there. It's not.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. It's not. Look, I appreciate it. I like it. I think it's a cool watch. But yeah, I think it's way overhyped. But the thing is, I've sort of been keeping an eye on the market, and a lot of Rolex in particular has been dropping down.
Yeah,
But GMTs have sort of pretty much sort of held, or they've dropped a little bit, but not as much as the others. They're still in demand, and Pepsi's obviously are still pretty
yeah.
much in
They're
demand.
about 14. Batgirls are about 14,000, and Pepsi's are about £15,000 in the UK.
Okay,
So
yeah. Yeah, here they've held quite well. So in Aussie dollars, I don't know what the conversion to pound is, but you're sort of looking at about 28 for a Pepsi, and about for a new condition Batgirl was about 24-ish, 25-ish. That's in Aussie. So that's still pretty, that's still high compared to, Submariners have gone under 20,000 now, which is really that's like unheard of. Um,
yeah,
Explorers are at retail pretty much.
yeah.
So yeah, it's oh, we got a good comment from Mick there. He's
Yeah,
got a
I thought I'd just say
63
hello to some of
Pepsi.
the chat. Say
Yeah,
hello.
yeah.
Well, some of the chat. We've only got Mick in the chat. Hi, Mick. How you doing, my friend? I have a 1963 Pepsi and a 2020 Pepsi. Well,
Wow.
there you go.
Man.
Sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, Mick. But yeah, with my opinions. But beautiful, lovely.
You can't
Yeah,
offend anyone. That's your opinion. And we're talking about watches. We're not talking about
yeah.
people or
The
whatever. So,
1963. I'm a big fan of the 1963. I'm sure that's the. What reference is that? Is that a
sounds.
16710?
I think that's a.
16700?
I reckon it's a 16. Tell us, Mick. I think 16.75 maybe.
Oh,
Now
it's
let's
1675. Yeah.
have a look. He'll just tell us, but let's have a look. 1963 Rolex GMT. Okay. Oh, geez. 6542 maybe.
1675. Yeah.
Yeah, 1675. Yeah, I had the pleasure of handling one of those at a red bar a little it was a while ago, maybe about a year ago, and it blew me away. Such a cool watch, man. The 1675 reference. It's just so beautiful, nice and thin. It just
Yeah.
wears like a dream. It looks so cool. Those Pepsi vintage vibes. It's just a killer piece, man. Really, really great. I love that reference. I didn't really like know much about it or think about it at all, and then when I saw one and had it on the wrist, man, I couldn't stop thinking about it for days. I was like, oh my god, this is just amazing. Really, really cool watch.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Like
wear
you
it, wear it
said,
well, Mick. It's a good
yeah,
one.
we're in a good health, Mick. Definitely. Wear them both in good health. But like
Yeah,
you say, it's a bit thinner, and that brings us on to our topic of thin watches.
yeah.
Um,
I was going to ask
yeah,
you, have you got anything thin before we get into the watches? Have you got anything in the watch box that is a thinner watch,
I
Tom?
suppose the thinnest I've got is a Mr. Jones watch. Excuse me, which is a Mr. Jones number cruncher. Um,
Yeah,
but that's using a seagull hand wound movement. Um, it's quite thin. I'm trying to
yeah.
think how thin it would be. Probably about. Oh, can't think. But
That's the one with the
it-
animation on the
yeah,
on the thing
with the
with the
monster on the
yeah.
front, gun powers.
I love
Yeah.
I love that watch. That's so cool.
What about yourself? Have you got anything thin?
Oh look, I was looking through my watch box and I couldn't quite find a JLC Master Ultra Thin Perpetual calendar in there. As much as hard as I tried to find one, but the best thing I could find was this vintage. It's a little vintage Seiko 5 that
All right. Okay.
that's just sort of passed down through the family. My mum actually got this in the 70s, and she was wearing it around the time I was born. So it's a very she handed it down
Oh,
to me. So it's a very
nice.
special piece. It's probably the least valuable monetary wise in my collection, but
Yeah.
it's the most valuable watch
Sentimental.
to
Yeah.
me because it's sentimental. Yeah, so it's quite look. It would be really thin had it not been for the case back.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's a real small little
It's
dainty
lovely.
little dress piece. Yeah, it's sort of cool. I haven't actually measured it. I've got my calipers here. I'll give it a go and see what we've got. Um, yeah, it's not. It's measuring like 10.9. So it's not nominally what you would consider thin. If I measure it up to where the if it wasn't for the case back, it would be 8.5. And so yeah,
Right.
it actually wears quite thin on the wrist because the case back, you know how it goes into your wrist. So when you're wearing it, it's really cool. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see some of the measurements that we have on some of these watches and sort of
Yeah.
how they fit in. And
Just a
we've
quick
got
hi
JJ.
to Kenny Johnson. Good to see you, my friend, as always. Great to see you.
JJ,
So
hi buddy.
I'll get us started on some of the picks I got, and I mean when I first think of a watch with thin in its name,
Hmm.
you just mentioned it. I always think of a JLC Master Ultra Thin, and
They're just such beautiful watches, man. This whole line
they
of
are, aren't
JLC,
they? Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, love it.
I mean, this one's going for £19,800, but that's because it's 18 karat pink gold.
Yep,
Looks so classy,
yep. And
beautiful, small seconds.
yeah, the, the
Um,
the crazy thing about this, not this particular reference, but this JLC line, and probably just JLC in general, is that you can pick these up for so much less on the secondary market.
yeah,
It's just
absolutely.
amazing. Like, so that list price there, you sort of ignore that and, take off, sort of 40, even 50% of that is sort of what you're really looking at in the market.
Well, you can
And
get them in steel as well, but this
yeah,
looks like a 5196
yep,
Calatrava.
yep,
It's got that eggshell beige dial.
yep,
It's using a JLT caliber 896, which is a really good caliber.
yep,
It's 39 millimeters in diameter. It's 8.1 millimeters thick. Now we'll see a few
yep,
watches coming in at that size.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it's got
yeah. I would, sorry, go on.
223 components in the caliber 896. And
Wow.
the movement thickness is 3.98 millimeters thick. So it
Yep.
shows you it's got power to over 43 hours, but it shows you that eggshell beige style's gorgeous, I think.
That is a stunner.
Really
That's a
nice.
stunner. And what's the diameter? Is this a 39?
39, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So this line is pretty much all 39 mil and all around that 8 millimeter thickness. Even the perpetual calendar is around that, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
well,
they're just stunning. I think was it on this show we were talking about like underrated watches maybe a little while ago, the ones that we liked that we thought were underrated, and I think I pulled up the perpetual calendar version of this one in steel.
Right.
So the black dial perpetual calendar in steel. It's just such a good watch. And on the secondary market, they sell for about 50% of the list price. So there's some real bargains to be had in this line, and you're getting JLC quality, ultra thin, dress watch. It just can't be beat, really. I think there's not much better value out there, I reckon, than this on the secondary. There's just something to look at for sure. If you like this dress, I mean, look at that, so sick, man, so good. Shout out to Kevin joining us as well.
Kevin, good morning. How you doing, my friend? Great to see you. And we have a celebrity in the chat. We got Erin Fletcher from
Erin,
Massachusetts.
so glad you're
Good
joining
morning, Erin. Good
we
to
love
see
it when
you.
Erin joins us.
We love
Great.
it when Erin joins us. Yeah. So sticking with that 8.1mm theme, there's just a couple of watches that I wanted to bring up, which come under the name ultra thin.
Yeah.
And we couldn't not include this one, the Vacheron Overseas Perpetual Ultra Thin.
Oh my god!
I know you're a fan of this, JCB. This is 18 karat pink gold again. Amazing sports watch with a great complication. It will display the correct date until 2100. A moon phase with 2 gold moons whose sky blends into a blue dial and complements the calendar. 3 interchangeable straps, leather, rubber, and the 18 karat gold bracelet. £98,500. 41.5mm diameter, 8.1 thick, as I said, and it's using the caliber 1120QP-1, which is 4.05mm thick, and has a 276 components with a 40-hour power reserve. And I think this is an absolute beauty.
Man, this one the skeleton version of this is one of my top 5 ever watches. Just love this whole line. Hey,
gents.
Hi, Abdul.
Hey,
Hi,
Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan.
Jonathan from his glamorous location in Italy. I saw you.
No, not anymore. We just returned home, and I left Mrs. Higgins alone and told her to take care of the luggage and
carry the bags, woman.
Yes.
I saw your video from Italy. That looked lovely.
Yeah, glad that you enjoyed it. Yes, it was beautiful. A little bit not enough snow in the valleys, but on the mountains we had a lot. And unfortunately, where the Christmas market was, there was lack of snow in the valley. If you drove 10 kilometers to the next bigger city, there was plenty of snow. So the snow situation is not perfect in Italy at the moment.
Yeah, there's plenty of snow here in the Black Forest. So I'd rather go to
I have guessed
south of Italy.
Yes. Do you have snow chains for your car?
I have snow chains, but I didn't use them until now. I have a couple of times actually wanted to go to the parents of my wife, but we couldn't because some friend of mine borrowed my snow chains. Now I got them back. Now we can visit them because they live up on the mountains, so it's impossible to drive if you don't have snow chain and four-wheel drive.
So if friends borrow snow chains, they never come back voluntarily. Then
exactly. Until you're like calling them every day. It's like, hey, when I'm going to see my snow chains.
I guess every time that you're looking for your snow chains, you have to have a list who borrowed them last time.
Exactly. Open my Excel list and okay, from this date.
So yeah, this is a beautiful VC, I think. I mean, the Overseas Gen 3 is really nice. The one of the most comfortable bracelets I've tried, I think. And I saw a friend wear one of these in Ireland when I went in September, and it was absolutely knockout. He had to fly to Geneva to pick it up, and it was absolutely stunning. It just looked amazing. He had it on one of the straps, on the leather strap, and it was just stunning. But for an ultra thin, I mean, this is what they're starting to class as ultra thin, 8.1 millimeters. So yeah. Well, I'll get off that, but I'll stick with VC again, and I mean that's when he's starting to get that's with a complication. That one we just checked out. It's got the perpetual calendar, but this one's a minute repeater, the Patrimony ultra thin minute repeater in platinum, and this was released in 2015. The ultra thin caliber 1731 broke the record for the world's thinnest manual winding minute repeater at just 3.9 thick, 3.9 mil thick, with a power reserve of 65 hours and 265 components. The watch is 41 millimeters by 8.1 thick again, a slate-colored silver opaline dial, and when the rose gold version was released in 2013, it was 270,000 euros, with only 10 to 5 being produced a year. And I can't find a price for this platinum one, but it will have been more, I would imagine. It's a bit of a banger of a watch.
Can I be the always nagging German here?
Yeah, go for it.
I think the lugs are too narrow. So it would have been more flattering to the watch if they moved the lugs 1 or 2 millimeters out.
Not long enough.
Do you mean they're too
yeah, it's
close?
too narrow. From this perspective, I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I wonder what the lug width on this is. Maybe could be 18 or something.
How is the diameter of that watch, Thomas?
41 mil.
40.
41, right? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So I guess it's 19, probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. I see it now. You know, when you don't see something, and then as soon as you see it, you cannot unsee it. I think that's the issue here.
Yeah,
I feel like a 40-20.
I apologize for being the party pooper.
Yeah, no, I was looking at it thinking something is a little bit off, and then now you've said it, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah,
it's got an interestingly placed second hand, sub-second dial. I quite like that. It's a bit like a lyrique.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, a little bit.
Sub-second placement.
I wonder if they have the Geneva stripes aligned perfectly on that one.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, we should. Do you have a picture of the back, Tom?
What's cool about the seconds, the sub-seconds, is that it's very symmetrically placed within the markers. When you see the sub-seconds just sort of, it's in that area, but it sort of doesn't have any symmetry. It's not in the right position. It sort of looks weird. With that one, when you look at it, it's nicely, sort of smack bang in the middle of those 3 markers there, and it sits nicely with the symmetry of the dial. So I think that they did a good job with the placement, definitely.
Yeah. So that's the end of the VCs.
So I checked that monochrome article. Unfortunately, there is not a picture of the movement itself.
No. But so we'll end our run of VCs, and the next one is back to JLC. We had the Master Control Ultra Thin, and next one is the Hybris Mechanica 11 Master Ultra Thin Minute Repeater Flying Tourbillon. So you can see they're packing more and more features in more and more complications into these thin watches. As well, see who can flex the most. So this was introduced in 2014, and as I say, packs multiple complications and automatic winding movement using a peripheral rotor into a 7.9mm case. And because it hosted so many complications in such a thin case, JLC obtained 8 patents when making the watch, while limiting production to just 75 pieces. And the movement itself is a 4.8mm thick with a 471 components, which is a pretty hefty amount, giving it a 45-hour power reserve. And that's in the caliber 362. Costs around $420,000 at the time release, and was 18-karat white gold, and as I say, 7.9mm thick and 41 in diameter.
What is happening behind those windows? Do you know that?
I think that's a peripheral rotor. I'm not sure. Let's have a look.
I had the same question also, because I felt like there was like a pip somehow that might be moving, so it might be the peripheral rotor movement, but somehow it seems like repetition minutes. Might be the peripheral rotor.
I think it could be just a peripheral rotor. I think, yeah. It's not showing us. It's not showing us the back either, the movement. Let's just have a look.
It's got to show you something.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would they put it there?
Yeah, it's really one of my pet peeves. If you have a nice article and a couple of pictures of the dial, the case, and then you don't do any kind of movement pictures, you're like, okay.
Yeah, sorry about that, gents.
So, you were saying the other day on a show, Thomas, I heard you say that you'd never buy a Tourbillon watch. Would this one sway you at all with the minute repeater?
No, I'm not a fan of the cutouts on the dials. I think they spoil the dials, these big round cutouts. And I know tourbillons are nice and they're mesmerizing to look at and nice, but
Thomas, you know that this puts you now off from my personal Christmas gift list, because you know that I'm very close to a tourbillon right now.
Really? Have you gone for it yet?
No, well, 90% payment is done.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give a shout out to some boys in the chat. We got AMG and Will Rizzo.
AMG, it's JCB in the house. Of course it's JCB in the house, AMG. Good to see you, my friend. Yeah, good to see you. We got William Rizzo, the Riz in the house, doing the shiz. Good to see you, William.
Is it an independent tourbillon, Jonathan?
No, it's not independent. It's Lange. I'm after a Lange tourbillon. So technically, it's not independent.
Come on, Abdul. Jeez.
Yeah.
He doesn't mess about, does Jonathan?
Well, I'm putting everything on red. Basically, that is what I'm doing. I've sold so many watches from my collection in the last year. You couldn't believe that. Just to make that possible. But I don't want to talk about my tourbillon.
Did you want me to share your screen, Jonathan?
No, not at the moment. No, not at the moment. Sorry, I was researching that watch. So, but I would like to ask the qualified panel, because I have a pet peeve. We all know Alex, the watchmaker, who is very knowledgeable, very competent.
Yeah.
But he always says tourbillon is a useless complication. It has been invented for pocket watches, and today it has no meaning. And I
was under that impression as well. Yeah.
For me, the whole watch collecting thing has no meaning, to be honest, right? Because you can get like a Casio Royale with a world timer with 5 alarms, timer, whatever. So you can have all the functionality. So I think it's more of a romantical hobby, right? So
I agree with you here. So everything which is over 10 euros and doesn't have a battery is insane and luxury. But I still believe, and in my opinion, as far as I know, the function of a tourbillon, it's even more efficient on a wristwatch than on a pocket watch, which is normally rested in one position unless you lay it flat on the table. So in my opinion, a tourbillon in a wristwatch helps with precision. Now we know the ultimate precision would be a quartz or an atomic clock and not a mechanical timepiece. But we are talking here about Swiss lever escapement and temperature balanced balance wheels and everything like that, which also serves for higher accuracy. And I don't get that statement that tourbillons in the modern days have no function, because in my opinion, as far as I know, they serve for greater accuracy at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a matter of opinion, really, isn't it? I mean,
but surely there must be you must be able to do some actual scientific tests to be able to measure the accuracy with or without a tourbillon to actually figure it out, right? Like, surely
totally.
Totally. So it shouldn't be a matter of opinion. It should be a matter of fact about whether or not they actually do assist the accuracy or not. It's just like some watchmakers need to just do the tests, like do the freaking tests. That's all. That's the answer. But in terms of having them in there, I fucking love them. I reckon they're great. They look cool, and I just, as Abdul was saying, the whole romantic thing about them and having this thing flying around the dial. I just think they look great. So, I'm all for them just for the fact that they just look cool.
They are mesmerizing. I mean, I saw the Grand Seiko Kodo Constant Force, and that tourbillon rotated, and it was amazing to look at. It was just that was an amazing one, rather than just spinning around. It was. Then
you have like triple axis gyro tourbillon.
Yeah, gyro tourbillon.
Come on, man. That's unreal. That stuff.
Let's be honest. Thomas is a snob, so he doesn't like cutouts. He doesn't like cutouts on tourbillons. So he's after the Patek Philippes that don't have a cutout for the tourbillon, and the tourbillon can only be seen.
That's another thing, Jonathan. I also think that the things like the Laurent Ferrier, which won the GPHG for the tourbillon category. I think that's pointless, having the tourbillon in the back, because a tourbillon needs to be shown off.
That's right. That's what I say.
The tourbillon needs to be shown off and exposed and
I agree.
Over.
I mean, you're paying 100 grand for a tourbillon, and then you're hiding it.
Take off the watch and look on the back just to see it.
I think the whole idea of a hidden tourbillon, on the case pack is pointless, because the whole idea is to show off the tourbillon.
But then when you have a cutout, you're moaning. So
I know.
Damned if you don't, damned if you do.
That's the hobby, right?
Oh, well. Oh. So, I'll go on to the next thin one. Shall get us off the topic. Well, it might not, because it's probably a tourbillon. And it is. The Chopard LEC Flying T Tourbillon Twin. This one came out in 2021. Chopard brought out the brand's first flying tourbillon in 2019, and this is a follow-up to that watch. The blue dial in hand gear shade gold with a honeycomb pattern, and the 18-karat wild gold case is 40mm in diameter and 7.2 thick, down from the 7.9 of the last watch. The caliber LEC 96.24-L has a LEC's twin technology with 2 stacked barrels and measures just 3.3mm thick, housing 189 components. The bridges are adorned with Code de Genève, and the main plate has a circular grain pattern for the connoisseur. It bears the, no, Jonathan might be able to correct me on this, Pension de Genève quality hallmark.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, quality hallmark, and is COSC certified, COSC certified, limited to 50 pieces. It was around $120,000 on release, and has a 65 hours power reserve. So
that is beautiful.
That's fun, isn't it? Yeah.
I like that honeycomb guillochage on the dial as well.
Yeah.
So that is really a home run that Chopard made. With the exception that you have to have big balls, paying over $100,000 for a Chopard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Thomas, but now that we're talking Chopard, maybe you can pull up the article that I have in the background, because we have a kind of Daily Mirror or something like that in Germany, a very low class newspaper.
Tabloid newspaper.
Tabloid, yes. In 2014, we have a kind of Harrods in Berlin, which is the KaDeWe. It's a big department store where all the watch brands are having their own boutiques, including Louis Vuitton and Rolex and Chopard. And there have been some guys raiding the Chopard boutique there. So within 70 seconds or something, they got some smashing pieces. And just now, in the last couple of days, one of the right one, the earrings have shown up. So those earrings are set with diamonds, 2 swallows, a unique set, and the earrings just surfaced. The retail price was 155,000 euros, and someone who was suspicious pawned them in Austria in a pawn shop. Guess how much he got for it?
$5,000. 5,000 euros.
4,000 euros. 4,000.
Really?
Yes.
No.
And then the pawn shop sent it to his jeweler, and he knew what it was. So that surfaced, and now they have the evidence because the consignee has been videotaped. By the way, the necklace I think is 500,000, and that has been found at one of the suspects, and he said he found it on the floor.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I apologize for a tangent, but talking about Chopard, I'm happy that the earrings are back, because I know for those unique pieces, Chopard is taking extra efforts, and that is the strength of Chopard, those crazy jeweled items, and I'm happy that they're back. I wonder a little bit, those guys are here with 3 people knocking holes into the showcases, risk 10 years of prison, and then at the end of the day, they pawn it for 4,000 euros. I mean, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
No. No, not to go to prison.
Yeah.
Maybe lesson learned: don't rob Chopard boutiques. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
So still on tourbillons, ultra thin watches. This one I might allow because I love Breguet.
Ooh,
Breguet Classique tourbillon, extra thin automatic 5377.
an
WD
automatic tourbillon extra slim. Let's keep that in mind. Automatic.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. Can I make it bigger? Yes, there. Debuting at Baselworld in 2014, this beauty is a lovely rose gold case measuring 41 mil in diameter and 7 mil thick. The caliber 581 DR is just 3 millimeter thick, housing 369 components, and is fortified by a high energy barrel that gives it 90 hours of power reserve. And the movement delivers a frequency of 4 hertz, which is impressively high for a tourbillon, apparently, which includes a peripheral winding motor in addition to the automatic winding rotor that is visible through the exhibition case back. And the dial is a classic Breguet engine turn design, making it very classic and elegant. And it's got a silicon hairspring, so Bill Sanders wouldn't like this. But it's £143,800, this one, which is quite expensive, but I love those Breguet dials. But wouldn't that Breguet dial be much nicer without that cutout?
Oh, come on, Thomas. Breguet is the inventor of the tourbillon. He did that all the time.
Exactly, yeah.
If you have a look at this watch, just look at it for a minute and notice how the symmetry is really weird on this watch.
Yeah.
Right.
I was just gonna point that out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really like from from first glance it's fine, but the more I look at it, the more it just upsets my brain. Like there's so much weird symmetry happening here.
With the
like
power reserve and the
for a start, I don't like the power reserve, but have a look at the actual dial itself. It's up and to the left, and so you've got and so the center pinion is not sitting center in the watch. So it's just a strange beast of a machine, this one. Like asymmetry is kind of cool, but on this one, I'm just not feeling it, to be honest.
We have royalty in the house. Scrappy Luxury.
Scrappy.
Good morning.
Scrappy.
Now we have to behave. Oh my God.
Crapmeister. Hi, buddy.
Yes,
Crapmeister, yeah.
So a year ago, I've been at the Breguet boutique in Geneva, and I had a lesson of guillochage on those old Rose engine machines. And I talked to the guillochage master there, and he he explicitly told me about that dial, how difficult it is to make. Because first of all, you have at least three different types of guillochage, and then you have to make it asymmetric and fill in that void around the crown. So it's very complex to make this particular dial on those Rose engine machines. And he told me that this particular dial is really a bitch to make.
Really?
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, I tried it once in Baselworld back in 2018. They had like a rose turn guilloche machine there where you can sit and look through and do it by hand while the master watchmaker tells you how to do it, and then you can. It was really a fun exercise. But I totally understand how hard would it be.
Yeah, what I still find super incredibly hard is not making the pattern. It is to find the right beginning point and end point. I think that is the most complex thing with guillochage, because once you start too early or you end too late, then you ruined the dial and you have to start all over again. So those are all single strokes virtually, and they must end controlled by your fingers, and that is really tough to make.
So that was a 7mm watch. So we go from tourbillons to something JCB's a fan of, skeleton movements, and measuring 6.7mm thick. What this one? I don't know whether you're going to be a fan of this one, JCB.
What do we got?
The Patek,
Oh, the Patek, yeah.
5180/1R skeleton movement with hand decoration. A rose gold case here, this time 39mm in diameter and 6.7 thick. The famous ultra thin self-winding Patek caliber 240 movement, which celebrated its 45th anniversary in 2022. It's completely skeletonized, decorated and engraved by hand. The engraving alone takes around 130 hours of work. And for the first time, the winding rotor is decorated with the engraved logo of the Patek Philippe seal, and pays tribute to the rare handicrafts that are painstakingly held by the manufacturer. Exhibition case back, rose gold bracelet, 193,330 pounds. The movement is 2.53mm thick with 159 components and a 48 hours power reserve. And it has a 22-karat gold micro rotor. So you can see there with the cufflinks.
Yeah.
I'll just get on to some of these pictures here.
Wow. I do love it, Thomas. I do love it. I mean, it's just an art. It's an art piece. That thing belongs
Have a look
in a
at the
museum.
skeletonization, because we have so many watches. Hublot calls them skeletonized and everything. This, ladies and gentlemen, is skeletonization, and not the piercing by machines, which I called open work at maximum. But this is skeletonization by its best, and this is just stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
JCB,
really cool.
Do you proof with that?
100%. 100%. Yeah. That's when I this is the sort of thing I would walk into an art gallery and expect to see behind a glass, in a glass enclosure. That's the sort of level of work that this piece is. I mean, I'd hate. How many of these would they make, really?
Not many. I think it's only one or two guys who can
more.
make that at Patek Philippe.
Yeah, I mean, it would be it would be on order, and even then you'd have to be waiting. I don't know what, Jonathan, for like 5, 6, 7 years or something to get one of these. I would have thought
to get it new. I would guess so. Yes, it's tough to get, but. As everybody knows, I love to take cheap shots on Patek Philippe, and maybe Thomas can show us the entire watch again, because there is also something glaring wrong with this watch, and of course, being the unhumorous German, I have to point that out.
Let's see if any of us can guess what it is first. But knowing you, Jonathan, we probably won't be able to.
Yeah, George V from Tim Wright has it, I think, in white gold.
George V.
Okay. A little bit more. Stop. Okay. So, Patek, unfortunately, until 2-3 years ago, have a record of sticking with their old movements, which are all too small. And they could hide it behind closed case backs, behind spacer rings and everything. And the more you look at this watch, it becomes obvious that this movement is too small. And they're pulling all kind of tricks to make it even harmonic in that case. But once you realize that the movement is just tiny, then you can't forget about that. Unfortunately, I would love to see a normal sized movement in this type of watch, and I think it would be even better. It doesn't take away from the artisanal craftsmanship that you see with the skeletonization, but that is my minor beef with this particular watch, that is so glaring.
But for such a watch, Jonathan, though, for such a watch, wouldn't they have made a movement to fill out the case if they wanted to? No.
Patek were riding for centuries on two different automatic movements. It's the 240 and it's I think 310 or 315. So one is with the small micro rotor, the other one with the central rotor, and those are the two automatic movements that they're using up and down their collection. Then they have a chronograph which is based on Lange. Now they are making it a little bit more in-house, but it's still the calculation of Lange, in my opinion. But that's it. So they are not making a special movement for this particular watch.
Yeah,
it's not 26 millimeters, I think, a MIG, but I may be wrong. Maybe it is 26. I think it's 28 or something like that.
Well, the movement is 2.53 millimeters thick.
Yeah, no, he means diameter.
And diameter.
Oh, diameter. It's 39. Oh, the actual movement. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can see there is, let's say, 2 millimeter radius of the case, and maybe 5 millimeter from each side. So, yeah, could be 26, 28, around that.
Let me check. Okay.
And now after you said it, Jonathan, I cannot unsee it as well. I feel like they made the watch and then they're like, oh, how about making it 39 so we can have a more 27.5 millimeter.
Yes,
movement.
That is what I got.
27.5, yeah.
So at least 30. I think the newers are 31 now, but it makes a big difference, those 4 millimeters.
Yeah, because in an enclosed case, you can hide it behind whatever you want, but with the skeleton, everything is in the open.
Yeah, this is the second pet peeve, and my friend Swiss is on the record. They look so nice on those pictures, but if you have hairy wrists and you put it on the wrist and you can see the wrist hair peeking through, that is another downer if you own such a watch.
That's like those Cartier, like the Santos watches that you see, and they're like full proper skeleton with gaping holes through them. I always think you're gonna see someone's wrist behind that. Warts and all. It's not gonna be cool.
So next one's an unusual pick for a thin watch from a micro brand, Ming. The LW.01 Ultralight series, a recent release from October 2023. The Malaysian-based micro brand generally does more affordable watches, but these two watches, hailing from their special projects cave, will be some of the lightest timepieces on record due to materials used on the case, which are an AZ31 magnesium, aluminium, zinc, manganese alloy, which is lighter than carbon and feels like traditional metal on the skin. They're also coming using a Corning Gorilla Glass 6 instead of sapphire crystal to keep the weight of the watches down to 8.8 grams for the manual wound and 10.8 grams for the automatic. Both using ETA 2000 base movement finished by Schwartz Etienne, which has a 36 hours power reserve. The hands are central pulse seconds. The hands and central pulse second disc are similar to the 2016 Oxen Junior Simpleton watch that Ming Tian designed, and the case is 38 mm in diameter with a thickness of 6.5 mm. The price, it's 19,500 Swiss francs with limited to 200 pieces. I'll just get some better pictures of the actual thickness of the watch. You can see it's quite a thin watch there.
Wasn't this the lightest mechanical watch, right? Or Behren's was lighter?
I'm not too sure, but one of the lightest mechanical watches. Yeah, it could.
How much was it? Because I know the Richard Mille is like
19,500 Swiss francs. Sorry.
No, the weight was that 8 grams? Did you say?
Oh yeah. For the hand wound, it's 8.8 grams, and for the manual, for the automatic, it's 10.8 grams. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think the Richard Mille Abdul is like 3 grams. I think.
Okay.
Yep. We're probably going to get to that one. I feel like we're going down in thickness. So by the end of the show, we're going to end up. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw a video of I think the channel is called Esper Luxury or something like this, and he met with the guys from Ming in the Dubai Watch Week, I think, and he was talking about the materials that they use and the magnesium and all the stuff. Really interesting, and how it looks from the back. It has like a mesh, and how they brought the weight down. I don't know about you guys, but if a watch is so light, like 8.8 grams is really light, I don't know if I would be able to enjoy it so much, because I wouldn't feel it on my wrist. I need at least to feel something. I don't know about you guys. Do you also feel the same? Do you need like at least, I don't know, 20, 25 grams of weight?
Yeah, I like a heavy watch. I do, Abdul. Yeah, I must agree. I quite like quite a hefty watch. Interesting comment by Flap 4 here. He said the Patek that we just looked at looked like a Portofino. Interesting.
Don't know about that. I just want to give a shout out to Y2K as well, who's
yeah, Y2K.
Get well, buddy.
Good to see you. Good evening, gents.
Yeah, get well, buddy.
Down with COVID at the moment. Please keep it going. Yeah. All our best wishes to you, Y2K, my friend. Sorry you're not with us today. And I hope you speedy recovery, my friend. Yeah, big shout out.
I'm Abdul. To answer your question, I'm actually getting into lighter watches. Not that I have any, but the other day I was just doing something, and I was around the office, and I was wearing, of all things, a Swatch watch, and it's like an old one that I have, and after a while I was like, I actually had to think, oh, where's my watch, because I can't feel it. And it was kind of like it was actually a good feeling, because to me it just felt like the watch was just out of the way, and it wasn't like you know what I mean? Like I was just sort of doing things, and I can imagine, like, if you're playing sport or if you're being active, it would actually, the light of the watch would actually be cool, because it would just feel like it's not there, and it's getting out of your way, if that makes sense. But on the other hand, if you're sort of going out and you want to wear a nice watch, and you sort of want to feel it and notice it. So it's sort of, for me, it depends on what I'm doing. I think it's sort of it's a bit context dependent. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, especially if you're wearing a nice watch and you're going out somewhere, like traveling, you want to feel the watch, so you don't go home and you're like, oh, where's my watch?
Yeah. Also, you know that you're wearing it. If you lose, if it drops and you lose it, I mean.
Yeah, you might not know.
You might not know. Yeah. I think you're going to be a fan of this next one, JCB.
What we got, mate?
It's going to be a pure alley, this one. A Royal Oak self-winding perpetual calendar, ultra thin.
Oh yeah. Great piece.
This became the world's thinnest automatic perpetual calendar wristwatch. Until it was beaten by Bulgari. And the case combines titanium for strength and platinum, and is just 6.3 mil thick, with the caliber 5133 measuring just 2.89 mil, which took more than 5 years of research and development to accomplish. Presented as a prototype at SIHH in 2018, this watch went on to win the Agidor 2019 StuPHG Awards, and the price tag is around $293,000. So you're certainly paying for it here.
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Did you say it was platinum?
It's
Titanium and platinum.
combined titanium and platinum. Yeah.
I think the bezel is platinum.
Yes, I think so too. Yes, the bezel and the little links in the bracelet are also
The
platinum.
bracelet, yeah.
That makes sense.
What I find interesting on this particular watch is that it's based on the old JLC movement, which is also part of the jumbo, and which has been considered to be one of the thinnest automatic movements out there. And then they managed to make an ultra thin module for the perpetual calendar on it. So this is traditional, well proven technology, and I'm crying tears that AP is not using that movement anymore, because it's just a piece of art. Maybe I can present it to you, because I have the monochrome article open.
I love
Thomas, can you share?
Yeah.
The dial layout is really cool on this watch.
Yeah.
Quick
Yes,
comment from
really.
William Rizzo. He's just saying that he wears titanium watches to make them flat, to make them light for that reason. Going back to the weight conversation.
Yeah, here's the JLC movement. You can see here the rotor, which is usually half, but the rotor here has that arch, which stabilizes that rotor, and that rotor is then running on roller bearings. It has 4 roller bearings that stabilize this entire thing, because otherwise it would be too big for such a flat movement.
Wow, that's cool as, man. That's
Really
so cool.
nice.
So it's a JLC movement.
Yes, that is the JLC. I think 910, the old base movement,
Right.
Hey,
which
Jonathan,
has never been used by on a JLC movement on a JLC watch. By the way, was only used by Patek Philippe and AP, and I think IWC also used it.
Right.
Let's go. I had a question, but I think I've answered the question. I was going to say, is this one of those APs that has a list price of 300,000, but on the market it's more like about 500,000? And I think that's probably right, because it's a limited edition of 200, and they're obviously not making these anymore. So I imagine that the market price for this would be way above the 300.
I haven't checked market prices, but I know that collectors are lining up for this particular watch. So I would say that the demand is higher than the supply, which then automatically leads in higher gray market prices.
Yeah, and if they're not making it anymore, so it makes it even more. If the movement is not used in any other models.
Yeah, I think they're now making a full platinum watch or full titanium. So they made two of those perpetual calendar automatics ultra thin. There's another one out there.
But I really like the idea of adding titanium to platinum. So you have the light, strong metal, and then you have a heavy metal that gives you this heft. And combining both, you have like the perfect combination.
Yeah, I agree. If you're AP, you're not releasing a full titanium watch, if that makes sense, with full bracelet. So you have to be better and more luxurious than that, particularly on a $200,000 watch. So I think it's smartly chosen to add platinum to make it the entire package a little bit more convincing.
Yeah.
Oh, have you seen these, Mick? Have you handled one of these?
Yeah, Russ has
Good
seen
one.
one last week as well. He was at the AP boutique and saw that.
Beautiful. So
Yeah,
we're
give me.
going to.
So I was just gonna say anything AP with perpetual in the name, I'm onto it.
Look, I remember when I was selling APs, we're talking now 30 years ago. I remember we had a Royal Oak perpetual calendar in yellow gold bracelet.
Mm.
I think back then it was 50,000 Deutschmarks, which is 25,000 euros by today's value. Today, this watch would be 100 probably. And this watch was sitting like a stone. It was handed down from colleague to colleague. No one was able to sell it. And I finally was able to sell it, and I got an extra commission for selling that. Now times have changed, because if you see Royal Oaks, traditional Royal Oak perpetual calendars on auctions, the prices are insane now.
Yeah.
So how time sometimes changes is just unbelievable. And I remember that they were unsellable back then, and now everybody wants them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we step into your territory now, Jonathan. The the Lange Saxonia Thin in 18 karat white gold, and the Saxonia Thin, as Lange say on their website, is the manufacturer's flattest watch so far. The Saxonia range was one of the first collections introduced in 1994 by the resurrected A. Lange, and I believe, and the Saxonia Thin model was launched in 2011. Though there was a rose gold 40mm version, there was only 5.9 mil thick, and this version on the screen with the copper blue dial and the white gold case is 39 mil in diameter and 6.2 mil thick, and uses a manually wound L093.1 with caliber with 167 components and 72 hours power reserve. Has an exhibition case pack, I believe, making it 30 millimeters water resistant. And on release in 2018, these were retailing for around $22,000. And although I'm not sure how much they are now, as it says price on request.
Actually, you can still get them at Lange boutiques. I know the Lange boutique in Frankfurt and in Berlin, they both have one. And I love and hate this watch at the same time.
Really? Why is that?
I love it because, in my opinion, Lange makes the best aventurine dials. If you haven't seen this in real life, you can't really talk about aventurine. This aventurine on this particular watch is amazing. It's mind-blowing. You know that I have that aventurine city ring on my watch, which is natural aventurine. This is artificial aventurine, and this is even better. Those little particles are so sharp. They hit your retina like needles. If you look at that dial under a certain lightning, it stings how sharp those particles reflect. It's an amazing experience, and you have to experience that in real life, guys. Go to your Lange boutique and ask to see an aventurine dial. It's amazing. It's mind-blowing. Now, why do I hate that watch? It's too big. It is 40.5 millimeters. I would love to see that in 38.5 millimeters. It is just too big.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, shame.
Yeah, I saw it in real life. It's amazing, amazing dial. I have to agree with Jonathan. 1 millimeter smaller would have made it for me perfect. Even like 39.5, something like this would be like absolute dress watch for me. The one that to get it and forget about anything else, because the dial is so amazing.
Do you know why this is called copper blue?
No.
No.
You uses copper in the aventurine dial?
So yes, the sparkling particles in the aventurine dials are copper something else. So it consists of copper, but also the dial itself, as far as I know, it's made out of copper. And then that glass layer with the copper particles is then not added on.
And William Rizzo was saying his wife had a Omega constellation with an aventurine dial and diamond indices. It's beautiful. So he's a big fan. Yeah. Yeah, they are beautiful aventurine dials. I really do like them. I've only seen one, which was a glass one. So it wasn't real aventurine. But yeah, I love the sparkling of them. I think I saw a Chapek with a aventurine dial.
Ah, yeah. I haven't seen that, so I can't compare.
The Chapek chronograph.
Yeah, I was just gonna say one of my favorite watches from Chapek is the chronograph. It's got a funny name, Fairberg de Cracovie.
Right.
Is the name of the chronograph. Beautiful watch.
Yeah. So you're not a fan of this, Jonathan? We'll move on.
I'm a fan of the aventurine dial. It's just I would love to see that in a reasonable size. I don't have big wrists, but I don't have small wrists. I had it on the wrist, and to me, it's just too big. I would love that watch. I would love to own it. Believe me, if it would look good on my wrist, I would have one.
What do you think is the right size, right diameter for a dress watch then?
It depends a little bit. Maybe we can pull that particular watch up, because the problem is with a two-hander watch, even with a three-hander watch, you have so much empty real estate on those dials that it can be smaller. If you have sub-dials, a power reserve or moon phase or something like that, then this kind of size is more appropriate. But there is just too much empty real estate, and even of real estate of lovely aventurine, it's just too big. It's even worse with the cream dial. They offer that size also with the normal dial, and it's even more glaring and obvious.
But what would you say is the? I'm trying to think of the word.
The sweet spot size for Lange, 38.5 millimeters. It's the classic Lange 1 size.
Right.
That is the perfect size for Lange, in my opinion. 38.5.
Right.
Especially with these lugs, because it wears a little bit larger somehow.
Right. So move on again from Lange to their rivals, Patek.
There is no rival for Lange.
I love it. And another Patek thin watch, the Golden Ellipse, the 5738R. First released in 1968. The Golden Ellipse has always stayed true to Patek's design principles, but has been enlarged ever so slightly. And to celebrate its 50th anniversary in 2018, Patek introduced this Grand Tie rose gold version of the iconic watch. It has an ebony black sunburst dial with the rose gold hour markers and hands. The crown is set with an onyx cabochon, and the watch features the ultra-thin self-winding caliber 240 again, which is kept by a solid rose gold caseback. The watch is 34 millimeters wide by 39 millimeters lug to lug, and 5.9 thick, and comes on an alligator strap with a prong buckle, and the price is £29,530. So an interesting one here, the Ellipse. Don't know what your thoughts are on this one. The choice of Donald Trump.
I think silence is sort of speaking volumes here, Thomas.
No,
from
no,
the
no,
panel.
no, no. Hold the horses. I was just trying to let you talk before I talk. I love the golden ellipse, but not with a black dial, with a blue dial, just like it originally was invented. The first time I saw a golden ellipse, I was 21, and I thought, "Oh, what a fucking old man's watch." Now I'm 59, and I love it. So I was right.
Look, I've never seen one in person, so I haven't had that privilege. But whenever I see these, I just feel like to me, it's a very feminine sort of shape of a watch. I think it just, for some reason, I get feminine vibes, and I feel like it's a lady's watch.
Oh, it looks beautiful on women. It looks beautiful on women.
Yeah, I could see this on my wife, but I couldn't see it on me. That's the thing about this. I think it's just the case shape, really. That's it. So it just doesn't do anything for me. The ellipse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I see what you
me as
mean.
well. I think maybe in 20 years' time, something like this, I might change my mind.
Yes.
Like Jonathan said.
Remember my words.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, the black and gold, somehow it's more feminine for me. I know the blue dialed one. I think it's white gold, the other one, if I'm not mistaken. And one of my things that I don't like about the watch is the movement. It's not it's a circular movement. It's not a fill the case movement, which I think would have been nice for a watch in that price or in that, because it's an only time watch, so you're not getting any kind of complications. You're just getting this perfect, let's say, golden ratio ellipse that they talk about. So the movement would have
And then
been.
they have Hey, we're talking about Patek Philippe. They're lazy fikers. They're not making an extra movement for that.
Exactly.
Yeah, round movement in an oval case.
And they would still make that Lemania-based chronograph movement if Lange didn't kick their asses. So that just proves the point.
Yeah.
But Mick's saying these new ones are also too large. They have a hard time getting the right size, either really small or overly large.
It's a good point, because you have to fit a round movement in that case shape. So unfortunately, the width is a little bit bigger.
Sorry,
Hi, Bill.
sorry, Jonathan.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, Bill's saying it's too small, and it's
yeah. Somebody says too big. Someone says too small.
Need to.
No.
I disagree. I disagree.
Please not.
No,
he's trolling us. He's trolling us.
That's trolling, Bill.
Yeah.
What do you think, Thomas? Would you rock an ellipse, Thomas? Because you've got a pretty eclectic taste in watches. That could be something that's up your alley. I don't know.
Let's talk about age, Thomas. Come on.
Not for the money, not for the price. It's not the kind of watch I would.
I'm leaving price aside. Leaving price aside, just what it looks like. I think that's a no.
No, I think probably no.
Yeah, I think maybe an ellipse. I would get only one if they sell this set. I think the one yours and hers, the set, maybe in like 15 years or something. For me and my wife, I could, if money was no option. But if money was option, then no, both times.
No. I think there's a version of it. I think, and I'm just going into my brain here. There's one. I think that's a platinum one with all this hand graving on the dial.
Oh yes.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
That one is cool. I like that one. Yeah. But they're just those regular ones, no. But the handicraft, I think it's a handicrafts one that's got the hand engraved platinum dial. That is sick. That's a cool watch. I can get down with that one.
So we go to one of the masters of thin watches, and that's Piaget. The Altiplano Ultima Automatic. When it was released in 2017, the Piaget Altiplano Ultima with the 910p movement was the thinnest automatic watch at 4.3 millimeters. Being so thin, the watch utilizes a case for the inverted 910p movement as a base plate, and to which the 219 components are fixed, with the escapement wheels and gears all being directly mounted to the case back. The dial is also integrated directly with the movement and the bridges on the dial side, and the suspended barrel held solely in place by a single bridge on the dial side with a peripheral 22-karat gold rotor with black PVD, giving the dial side a very skeletonized aesthetic with an off-center hours and minutes dial. While being very thin, for 4.3 millimeters, the diameter of the case is 41 millimeters, making the watch very wearable. And it's available in white, yellow, and rose gold model, as we see here, and retails for £30,500 with 40 hours power reserve and 20 meters water resistance. But the 2014 Altiplano with the 900p movement was 3.65 millimeters, which is a bit thinner. I just included this one just for us to check out. Don't know whether I can. Whoa. So interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I like these Piaget thin watches. They're sort of becoming the masters of ultra thin, in a way. I mean, there's other watches there are watches that are thinner, like the Bulgari and Richard Mille or whatever. But I sort of feel like Piaget, they sort of own this space in a way.
Yeah, Piaget have a long tradition of being the blueprint for ultra thin watches.
Yeah.
Their manual and automatic movements in that field have been legendary and groundbreaking, and they've been always at the front of ultra thin watches.
Yeah,
which I really applaud.
Well, I think they held the title for a little while with the Concept S.
Well, even
and then-
before,
Yeah.
even before their manual movement was the thinnest, and also their automatic, the 12P, I think, was groundbreaking and record holder until that battle then started with. Was it Jean Lassalle? Jean Lassalle then took the helm and made even slimmer watches than Piaget.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
But with the 4 millimeters, we're reaching now a thickness where those watches become unwearable. Because just imagine you knock that watch somewhere. Those are getting now so fragile that the case has a tendency to bend, and the more we are talking now slimmer watches than that, the more problematic it gets in daily use. It goes to a point where you can't even strap them properly on with a leather strap, because that will cause some flexing to stop the watch.
Do you think, Jonathan, in your experience, do you think there's that's the number that you sort of don't want to go below, like about 4 is about where you want to cut it off?
Yeah, and even that is very extreme, because they can't hide the mechanical parts anymore, because those ruby bearings must be somewhere. They didn't do it on the case back, so this is already very extreme in terms of construction, and it's getting difficult there.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
Piaget's first one I've got from Piaget. And I just thought I'd go back to Vacheron with a lovely piece that I saw that they'd done. I couldn't find the now discontinued, I believe. I couldn't find this one on Vacheron's website, so I had to go to Watchbox Archives to get a picture of this Vacheron. This is the Historiques Ultrafine 1955, which was originally released back in 2010, and at that time was the thinnest mechanical watch in the world, measuring just 4.1 millimeters thick. And it's also a traditional size for 1955, being 36 mil in diameter, making a classically styled dress watch. I think it's gorgeous. The case houses Vacheron's caliber 1003 movement, which is a full bridge hand wound movement that measures only 1.64 mil thick and is visible through a display case back. And at the time of release in 2010, this watch retailed for $29,600. It didn't say how much Watchbox sold their last one for, but you could inquire. But
Can we see the
looks-
movement?
Yeah, I'll just get around.
Because
to
I
it.
think that is the ultra thin JLC movement that they've been using back then.
Ah,
So most of the
really?
credit goes to JLC for providing the ultra slim
Yet
movement.
again, the watchmaker, right?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Remember what Jonathan was saying before about the that open space on the dial with the Lange? I think this one it's even way more pronounced. It's just this expanse of white, and you've got these little batons around the edge. It's just
Yeah.
Well,
it's
The
too
hands are very thin.
It's
just
a
doesn't
35 mil watch in diameter.
35.
So I think the movement's probably the right size.
Yeah. On the wrist, it's not going to look too big, I guess. Yeah.
But yeah,
A
ultra
lot of
thin
real
makes-
estate, yes. Even on a 35
Yeah.
millimeter. Yeah.
So
We have a $10 super chat from Roly Mania. Not sure how that works. Send money now.
I'll give you-
really?
You've got to pin your PayPal address at the top. Thomas.
He's trolling me.
Channel's not monetized.
Yeah,
Nice to see you, Rolly Maney. Good to see you, my friend. He's trolling me because that's what he always says.
Yeah,
$10
Thomas, you
super
need a bar Thomas Burnett Golden Ellipse fund.
Golden Ellipse Fund. Good to see you, Rolly Maney, my friend.
So what I
move on
like,
from
just to finish off the conversation on that one, if you compare that, Thomas, to the Piaget, like the Piaget is I think that was a two-hander as well, right? But you've got you've got the movement, which is sort of within the case, or like the case is sort of like the base plate when you've got all the mechanics there, and you can see that, and that's what makes it interesting, right? But when you've got a watch like that one, where there's just nothing going on, you just got a dial and two hands, like I don't care how thin it is, it sends me to sleep, that sort of stuff. I think if you're gonna have it,
I love that sort of stuff. I love classic.
yeah, that's up to your alley. You love that sort of stuff. Yeah, I know. Yeah, for me, it's like I need something going on in the watch.
Yeah, something a bit more. Well, there's something going on in this watch. I don't know whether you like this watch. This is more purely. Back to Tourbillons. The Octo Finissimo Flying
Mm.
Tourbillon Automatic in carbon. So carbon again is your jam.
Yeah.
That's this is offered in a super light titanium case with bracelet option, but I don't know whether the carbon cases and bracelet will be lighter or not. A true rule breaker in the art of watchmaking, the Octo Finissimo Tourbillon Automatic watch asserts its stature as a supremely contemporary timepiece through an uncompromising aesthetic and an ability to push the boundaries of technical challenges, so Bulgari said on their website. Love or hate the design, Bulgari certainly have mastered the art of the thin watch, making with tourbillons, minute repeaters, and perpetual calendars falling under the Octo Finissimo umbrella. The case is 42 mm in diameter and is in fact the world's thinnest tourbillon watch at 3.95 mm thick. The BVL 288 caliber is 1.95 mm thick with automatic winding and 52 hours of power reserve. Only 10 meters of water resistance, which is surprising, and a price of
10
around
meters. What the hell?
Don't go out while it's raining.
The price of around $135,000 when it was released at Basel World in 2014. So this one is not for everyone.
The problem you just quoted is 42 millimeters. We have here a 42 millimeter watch, which gets slim. And my beef with all those super slim Octo Finissimos is they look more and more like credit cards on the wrist. So I'm getting more and more that vibe, and particularly later with the Réchamil. When they're too thin, they're not really visually attractive on the wrist, in my opinion. Particularly when they're so large in the diameter.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting point, Jonathan, because I was going to sort of say, like, I think just as a general statement about thickness or thinness when you're getting into super, like, record breaking stuff, there comes a point where it's too thin. Like the watch is just too thin. For me anyway, like I sort of feel like, I don't know, maybe 3, even 4 to 5 mil is probably where personally I wouldn't want to go beneath that, just because you want to feel like you want to see that you've actually got a watch on your wrist. When you get to the 2-3 mil size, as you say, it just becomes like a credit card, and I think that becomes really exemplified on the Richard Mille when we get to it. It sort of comes to a point where it's just too thin, I reckon.
Yeah, because they have to put the movement somewhere, right? So they have to take some more space to flatten out the movement to be more thinner. So it's like a balance.
Yeah, the engineers will tell you we don't care how it looks on the wrist. It's just a technical challenge and it's just a technical flex. So we are probably less enthusiastic about those concepts that they're putting out, and we can debate, I think, all day long if it really makes sense to have those ultra flat watches, or if the development should have stopped with Piaget and JLC with the ultra flat movements, which were totally fine.
Yeah, I feel like
maybe that's about people like us, and they're just flexing. It's just a technical flex, and that's what it is. They don't really care what we think, and they don't care if we buy it or not. They're just doing it because they want to and they can,
And another analytical comment from Bill here: when it's too thin and the crown is too small, it becomes hard to wind. Yeah,
a 3 millimeter crown is really difficult to wind. And you don't want the crown to be thicker than your case. So it's a very good point,
And from the Crapmeister himself, that Bulgari watch looks stupider than a Jacob & Co. shifter.
I compare these kind of watches always with like supercars, like this is the Super Leggera. Yeah, okay, really nice. You pay 100,000 euros more for a car that's lighter, but you don't have a place for your cup to put your cup or to put your mobile phone. So how can I drive this? Should I drive this with my coffee cup at hand or the bottle of water at hand, or just put it on the the passenger seat? It feels like you took some function that is really needed for the user experience and you took it out just to flex. Oh, this car is 100 kilograms lighter, or this watch is 3 millimeters thinner than any other watch that's similar.
Yeah. Well, I don't know whether you like this one any better, Crappy. This is a JLC Master Ultra Thin Squelette, released in 2015. This Master Ultra Thin Squelette is the open works and enameled version of the Master Ultra Thin 1907, which when released was the thinnest mechanical watch in the world, 4.05 mil. The Squelette, however, measures just 3.6 mil thick or thin. The dial is decorated beautifully as well as an exhibition case back, and in a way that you would not expect from such a thin watch. It comes in rose gold with a chestnut enameled outer dial ring, or white gold with a dark blue enameled outer ring. The caliber 849SQ is 1.85 mil thick with 119 components and has a 33-hour power reserve. The case has a 38 mil diameter. Each edition limited to 100 pieces, and on release retailed for 56,000 euros for the rose gold version and 58,000 euros for the white gold version. And Crappy probably doesn't like this either because it's calcinized. But
yeah. So here it's the same problem, just like with the Patek. The movement is obviously too small.
Yeah.
Even worse, because that is the manual movement, and the JLC ultra thin manual is even smaller than the Patek Philippe, which had 27.5. I think that is around 24 or 23. So it's hard, but it's beautiful if you see the skeletonization. I mean, we're talking here about ultra slim watches, so they're already walking on the border with the thickness of the bridges and with the thickness of the cocks and everything, and now they pierce them out and engrave them. It's just insane.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the same point that you mentioned, Jonathan. But at least here they put this enamel cutout part on the outside, which just gives it somehow, for me, a better feeling of less empty space. Somehow, I don't know why, but it gives me a better feeling that okay, at least they put some enamel here.
They actually filled it up with something, and
yeah,
rather than just leave it.
Crappy, it's too bad that I don't have a wrench. Otherwise, you would be gone.
Honestly, if I had technology, chocolate's better. And we got a request here. Can you please do your Australian accent? Well, JCB's from Australia, so you get.
No, I think this one. She wants an Australian accent from one of you guys, so it sounds.
You can get an Australian accent for all the stream. But g'day, Aaron. How you doing?
G'day, mate.
Right here.
And now JCB with the French accent, please.
That's not a knife. This is a knife.
Bonjour, je m'appelle JCB. Aaron, ça va? Comment ça va, Aaron? Voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Oh my God, I was just waiting for that.
I didn't actually really mean that though, Aaron. I've seen you, so yeah.
So what's Scrappy saying? These JLC watches are for people who have so much money that they don't know what to do with it all. So they buy this nonsense to shove their next socialite party. All meaningless.
I strongly disagree.
My comment, Crappy. Yeah,
I disagree. I disagree with Crappy because you don't buy this particular watch to flex, because nobody knows what it is. If you want a watch to flex, back then that is a very old watch. You're buying an offshore or Rolex. This is not for showing off how wealthy you are. You have to have a certain love for those things.
Well, here's one that you're certainly not going to be paying a lot of money for to flex at a party, because this one costs $3,995, but still fits into the ultra slim category. And this one's the Citizen Eco Drive 1. In 2016, Citizen marked the 40th anniversary of the brand's proprietary Eco Drive technology with the Eco Drive 1, which still remains the world's thinnest solar-powered analog watch. Its case is made of a ceramic composite material called Cermet and measures 38.5 mil in diameter and just 2.98 mil thick. 2.98 mil thick, so that's just under 3 mil.
Yeah, but isn't that cheating though? It's fucking quartz, man.
Well, I thought I'd include it anyway.
Yeah, it's cool.
You need an ultra thin battery as well. No, you don't need it because it's solar powered.
It's solar, yeah.
The bezel is made of cemented carbide, which is a material boasting extreme hardness, as well as high corrosion and oxidation resistance. Its Eco Drive movement, which citizens say required a total redesign of the original, comes in at just 1 mil thick and has an accuracy of plus minus 15 seconds per month. The movement also consumes less energy than its thicker predecessors, enabling the watch to run for 10 months on a single charge from any light source. So here you go, Crappy. This one's for you. If you've got $3,995.
Whoa.
Oh, that's a hefty price tag.
$4,000.
Yeah, $4,000.
Okay.
So
yeah,
they did
no.
titanium versions as well. They've got a couple of different versions.
Now he's moaning about the lack of second hands. I mean, Crappy, you realize a second hand needs an additional wheel, and that needs a connection to the movement. So that all takes space. We're talking about ultra slim, and there is no surprise that not many watches are three-handers in the ultra slim range.
I feel like the only watch that would make Crappy happy is like a FP Joan Chronometre Bleu or something. You know, it's like 4 millimeters. It's got the second hand. It's got FP Joan on the dial. But that's it. He can go home after that.
Yeah, Bill is asking a good question. Availability, numbers produced. I would ask the numbers of sold watches in that concept.
That's what I was going to say. How many are they selling?
That shit?
Yeah.
Because I know Citizen makes like this Chrono Master or something like that can be compared with the Grand Seiko Quartz, which is also like 3,000-4,000 euros. I never saw this one before. I have a couple of Eco Drive, but they're like 150 euros or something like this. So I don't know if I like Citizen a lot, but I'm not gonna pay 3,000-4,000 euros for a Citizen.
Yeah, you don't like it $4,000 a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
I thought here are sitting the watch experts.
So Crappy doesn't like it because it's got a second hand, so I have to take that off the screen, then we'll get rid of that one.
Oh, fuck, can't make Crappy happy at all. He doesn't even like Jean. For fuck's sake.
We're trying hard.
Well, we'll go back.
I give up, man. Okay, you beat me. You beat me, dude.
We'll go back to Piaget. And this is their Altiplano Ultimate Concept watch, measuring 41 in diameter with the cobalt alloy case of this watch is just 2 mil thick, with the world's thinnest one of the world's thinnest mechanical hand-wound watches. I don't think this one has a second hand either, Crappy. I'm sorry. A total fusion between the case and Piaget's caliber 900P-UC ultra thin hand-wound mechanical movement. This watch was a winner of the prestigious Agidor Prize in 2020 at the GPHG Awards. The website says price upon request, and winding is achieved via a single infinite screw operated by a special tool rather than a traditional sliding pinion and crown. So you can't wind this one, Crappy. Sorry. The wheel system, which increases the shock resistance on that winding system. The sapphire crystal is just 0.2 mil thick. The hours and minutes of dial at 12 o'clock is accompanied by several of the movement's vital parts on the frontal display, including the drumless mainspring barrel and the balance wheel, as well as the inner workings of the winding mechanism. And many of the watch's elements are customizable, such as the color of the finish on the hands and the exposed main plate. So,
Okay.
do you prefer this one to the other Piaget?
Oh, that is wonderful. Of course, it's much better than the other one. This is a 400,000 euro watch, isn't it?
Is
Yeah.
that how much it is?
Is it
Wow.
It's a
400?
concept. Yeah.
400
this,
euro.
as far as I know,
Really?
yes. Yeah. Well, it had the title of the thinnest wristwatch out there, mechanical wristwatch out there, before the Richard Mille took that title. In my opinion, there are fundamental differences in construction, because on the Piaget you can still see ruby bearings from the crystal. So you have the alternative to have the ruby bearings visible on the dial or visible on the case back. And Piaget chose to have those ruby bearings at the dial side. When we go later to the Richard Mille, you don't see the ruby bearings in the dial. They chose a different type of construction, and that is why the Richard Mille is so groundbreaking and so revolutionary against the Piaget.
I would wear the Piaget over the Richard Mille.
Me too. It's much prettier.
Me too.
But technically, the Richard Mille is a step ahead.
Yeah.
For a lot more money, though.
Are we talking about money here?
Money is no options on the show.
Yeah, okay, so that's the last Piaget, which got beaten by another Octofinissimo, which is the one I used on the thumbnail. And
yes, the Octofinissimo was then slimmer than the Piaget, correct? Yes,
Yep.
I forgot that.
yeah, this is the Octofinissimo Ultra. Looking at another Octofinissimo here, but this time without a tourbillon. This one, the Octofinissimo Ultra, was released in 2022 to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Octo collection, and 1.8 mil thick, was the thinnest watch in the world for a very short period, with a 40mm sandblasted titanium case. The face of the watch has two dials in a regulator fashion. The top one for the hours and the bottom one for the minutes, with a separate seconds readout on a third smaller display, which comes out of the minutes dial. Just there, I don't know whether you can see, just sticking out of the minutes dial is the seconds one. The most noticeable feature on the face of the watch is a glaringly large engraved QR code on the upper left ratchet wheel of the dial, and this allows the owner to connect to an NFT associated with the watch. While novel and fairly interesting, perhaps it would have been better suited to being on the case back I think. The movement, the BVL caliber 180, took 3 years of development, and Bulgari teamed up with Conceptos designers and builders to make it. And the movement is 1.5 mil thick and has a power of over 50 hours. The bracelet is also ultra thin titanium, and the watch is limited to 10 pieces, costing around, wait for it, 440,000. So the same as the Piaget we just mentioned. So there it is. And you can see in the picture, it's pretty thin.
It's really nice that they added the seconds here, even in a 1.8 millimeter, because this is just mind-blowing how thin it is.
You forgot, did you mention that ugly QR code thing that is taking up half of the bloody dial there?
Yeah, the ratchet wheel, which is
Yeah, the NFT connected, right?
connected to NFT there. Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, it came
Yeah.
out in 2022, and the NFTs were the hype. So maybe one guy from the marketing from the Bulgaria was like, "Hey, we could sell to the crypto guys a couple of these watches if we put an NFT on it."
Yeah. Ridiculous. I mean, I haven't heard much of NFTs recently. But
Yeah, it was a phase and hype.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like having a tamper-proof watch or a watch that nobody can make a fake out of it, it's cool and everything. But who would make a 1.8 millimeter Bulgari, right? This is, I think, impossible for the. Maybe I would be proven wrong in the future, but I think it's impossible to fake a watch like this with 1.8 millimeters in a Chinese factory somewhere.
Yeah, it's I quite like this one though. If it wasn't for the QR code, if they'd just made a plain ratchet wheel instead of putting the QR code on. I mean, it's laser etched on.
Just take a file and file that out.
Well, if I didn't know it was a QR code and I just saw a pattern, I wouldn't mind. But the fact that I know it's a QR code, it just makes it a bit weird, doesn't it? But I still really like it. Oh, Erin, trolls band together. Oh, you're building an army of trolls.
Erin is an army of trolls. What are you talking about?
She's not.
But how pissed off would you be if you're Bulgari and you brought out this watch thinking, yeah, fuck yeah, 1.8 millimeters or whatever it is, and then 4 months later, Richard Mille comes out with the with the credit card watch.
Yeah.
Pretty pissed.
I would be really pissed if I was a Bulgari executive, but at the same time, if you look at the two watches together, this looks like, let's say, a little bit like a traditional watch. The other one is the credit card on the wrist, and like a platinum Amex on the wrist, like showing, look, everybody, I can pay millions of euros for a watch that doesn't even look good on the wrist.
Well, we'll get to that now.
Isn't the Bulgari the case where the bracelet is thicker than the case?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
The bracelet's 2 mil thick as well.
Yeah.
Is it 2 mil?
The case 1.8 and the bracelet 2, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
That's weird. Why would they do that?
I don't think they would be able to make a 1.8 millimeter bracelet. It would be like so thin, so fragile.
Yeah, even though it's made from titanium, it's going to be fragile. But this is a horror story that we're looking at now. With the watch world thinking that Piaget and Bulgari would continue to fight it out for the title of the world's thinnest watch, in 2022, Richard Mille surprised us and entered the ring with his credit card on a strap lookalike in collaboration with Ferrari. We featured this on our Cars and Watches collaboration show. It's a mere 1.75 mil thick, 0.5 mil thinner than the Octo Ultra that we just showed, and weighs just 2.82 grams. The base plate and bridges of the watch are made from grade 5 titanium, and the movement has a thickness of just 1.18 mil. On the top left is a function selector that allows you to select W for winding or H for hand setting, and it's wound with a key, and has a power reserve of 45 hours. It took 1,000 hours to develop and is a rather spectacular feat of engineering, retailing for a ridiculous $1,750,000, considering it's limited to 150 pieces. So 150 times 1,750,000 is gonna make Richard Mille quite a bit of money. I don't know what you think of this one. It's just I find it ridiculous.
Well, as soon as they brought it out, there was a huge discussion if it counts, because you can't set this watch or wind it up without an external tool.
Yeah.
So some people said the Bulgari, for example, can be wound up with those little ratchet wheels that they have on the side. So some people questioned that it's even worth a record, because you can't operate it without an extra tool that which adds then to the thickness.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, I agree as well.
On the other hand, the Bulgari has a big sapphire crystal on top, and just like I said earlier, flexing is an issue. You can see flexing is an issue with a Richard Mille, because it has that ugly screw in the center of the case, just to stabilize that sandwich that they made. And I'm wondering if the Bulgari, for example, which has a crystal, how often that crystal pops when you really wear this watch on a regular basis.
Yeah, I find it awful. It's horrible.
And especially they won, let's say, the thinnest watch with a 0.05 millimeter difference from the Bulgari, which is really pisses me as if I was a Bulgari executive so much that just for a 0.05 I got for 4 months after all these years of development and research and everything. That would hurt.
I mean, look at the demographic they're aiming for. These
yes,
young sort of streetwear, rap orientated, young crypto kids who've got a bit of cash to spare. You know, they've got $1,750,000 spare. Not a bit of cash, but yeah, it's just yeah.
Yeah, one of the selling points is that you can use the watch to rack up your lines of cocaine as well, instead of actually getting a credit card out of your wallet. You can actually use the watch.
Yeah.
Good point.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me this would be like, yeah, exactly, like a competition of degrees of impracticability. Yeah, this would be like the most impractical, the most ugly watch that I could pay for, to be honest.
Yeah, but then on the other hand, those nuclear physicists who bring us a great project in constructing computer chips, they're talking about stuff that we all find ridiculous, and probably just on a similar degree anal or totally out of touch just like we have here. And so extreme physics or extreme handcraft is always having an element of insanity or impracticability, and the normal people don't understand it.
Yeah.
Bill's got a request for us. Is there any chance you could pull that up, JCB?
Sorry.
No.
What do we? Yeah, I can do that. Let me have a look.
Yeah, Bill was asking about the thinnest diver watches. I found this Nova Trident. It was like the thinnest diver watch with a 6.8 millimeters, but it has a quartz movement. But still, 6.8 millimeters for a 300 meters diver. It's definitely thin.
Yeah, give me a sec.
Yeah, 300 meters. You have the problem that the case back is bending severely under the pressure, so it's getting tough to make them extra. For a good reason, the GMT Masters used to be 100 and Submariners 200 or 300 because the case back bent. So the Submariners had to have a different case back.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest point you mentioned, Jonathan, for dive watches. Why they have to be a little bit thicker and a different case back and all the stuff, because you don't want to get a bending watch while you're diving, and then that would be a bad situation.
So this is the Nova Trident.
Doesn't win a beauty prize, I must say.
No.
Hmm.
Almost looks like it's got a diamond bezel.
Credit card on the wrist again.
Yeah. And it has this ratchet system for the bezel. 3-lever stopper system. Yeah. It's very thin. I would say here it's more form over function. So if you really want a thin diver, okay, but then somehow the looks and the function won't be the same.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
There you go, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Crappy Lange fan.
Yeah, but Saxonia thin, isn't it a two-hander as well?
I think it is, yeah. So it doesn't have a second hand, Crappy.
Yeah, Crappy, try again.
Oh. Oh, he says yes, it does.
I think he's talking about thin and not ultra thin. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think ultra thin watch is pretty hard to stack the seconds on top. Maybe if.
So here you go, Bill. This is enough Trident. I don't know what you think of it. Are you a fan?
No, this whole ratchet thing is making this thing look really, yeah, I'm not loving the look of that. If it wasn't for that, it would be kind of cool. Yeah, but it's quartz as well, so I sort of feel like when you're getting into the world's thinnest something, it's sort of cheating when you throw quartz in the mix, because it's just cheating, really. It's not really. I mean, you're competing with mechanical watches. You can't compare. It's totally apples and oranges, obviously. For obvious
I
reasons.
agree. Most of the competition lays in the movement and not in the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the whole innovation in this watch was the idea of having that water resistant in such a thin case. So that's why the ratchet system on for the bezel. So instead of having two systems, which will take a couple of millimeters more, It's just like a gimmick, right? The thinnest, world's thinnest dive watcher. So
while we've got our celebrity Erin in the chat, I'll just ask a question on her behalf. What's your favorite Madonna song? I'm going to say Borderline.
Holiday for
Madonna.
me.
Holiday for you. Borderline. Feels like I'm going to lose my mind. You just keep on pushing my love over the
Over
border.
the borderline. Carl, we had some harmonies going there, Thomas, and then you stopped. Come on.
Borderline. Feels like I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah, no, I'm with Jonathan. Holiday for me.
Holiday. Yeah, I nearly said holiday. Holiday.
Celebrate.
It's holiday. I'm on holiday now.
Yeah.
Finished work for Christmas. So
Oh man.
Nice.
yeah, so they were the thinnest watches we came up with, guys. So hope you enjoyed that. Great to have you all in the chat. Great to see you. Erin says Dress You Up by Madonna. I don't know that one. Yeah. Oh, what's this one, Bill? Spinnaker Spence 300 thinnest mechanical. 10 points. That can't be the thinnest mechanical. 10.9 mil thick. We started at 8.
Divers. He means divers.
Maybe dive watch. Yeah.
Maybe diver, thinnest automatic, because I feel there might be a thinner hand wind dive watch.
Crappy says I have the world's thinnest wallet.
Oh, hey, no. Oh,
Yeah.
no, well, almost. I've got the second world's thinnest wallet. Yeah. So great to see you, chat. We always love to see you in the chat there. That's what we do the show for. And yeah, great to see you guys. JCB, my man, Abdul.
Anytime, mate. Yep.
Great to
I
see
think in
you
a
all.
couple of weeks. What are we doing in a couple of weeks? We're just going to have a bit of a more of a chilled.
Yeah,
sort
yeah. We thought for the next show, which is on the 23rd of December, we'd have a bit of a relaxed, no topic chat. We'll just get a few guests on, and we'll just talk about general watch topics and watch things that come to mind, and take it a bit more freely and informally, without having a topic
Good.
as such. A bit more laid back.
All right.
A Christmas social.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we'll just have some
Nice.
random watch chat. Sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Thomas, Abdul, Jonathan, always a pleasure. Guys in the chat.
Likewise.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, if you
Sure.
enjoyed this
Next
good
time.
show, guys, give us a thumbs up. That'd be great. And hopefully see you in the next one.
Indeed.
Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, everyone.